There was a time, not too long ago, that I actually really wanted to be a farmer. Like, when I say a farmer, obviously we live on a farm and we work on the farm and we even sell some products from this farm, but I wanted to be like a farmer. I wanted to be a full-time farmer where I made my living making food and products from the farm for people full-time. And I totally failed at that. I failed at being a full-time farmer. In this video, I want to talk about lessons I learned why I failed at being a full-time farmer. Lessons that some of you can avoid learning the hard way if you're trying to make money on a small farm. And give you some insight as to how we changed our methods of trying to make money off our farm property and how we actually wound up succeeding. And this is actually the beginning of a series I'm going to be doing over the summer, all about making money from your farm, your small farm, your homestead. And I hope it helps some of you out there who have that dream, because I know a lot of you do. Goats are like coughing behind me. Hi, goaty goaties. Hi. They're yelling at me, so I figured I better just let them out. Otherwise they'll be yelling at me the whole time I'm trying to make this video. Hi, how you doing? What are you two doing? Let's get you some hay. We have been homesteading now for a decade, and about 2 years in, my business mind started ticking. I've always liked starting businesses. I got a bit of a serial entrepreneur thing going on. And I started thinking, you know, I really like this way of life. I like producing all these products from my farm. Maybe I could do this full time. I could be a full-time farmer. At the time we were producing chicken, producing eggs. We were raising pigs and producing pork from the pigs. And we also were getting into the dairy game with goats at the time. We started acquiring customers, people who wanted to buy, you know, farm fresh chicken and farm fresh pork. And I learned really quickly one of the biggest challenges facing a small farmer is the fact that as a small farmer, you're going up against your competition, who you think is your competition. It's a bit of a David and Goliath, and the Goliath, well, he is almost impossible to beat. Large-scale agriculture, and I do not want to make large-scale agriculture the bad guy here, so hear me out. As a small-scale producer, it is really hard to compete with them in the same arena. Large-scale agriculture gets subsidized. Money given to them from the government to help keep the cost low. I thought I might just read this little bit from Wikipedia because it can be a little bit polarizing. So here, according to Wikipedia, low prices are harmful to farmers not receiving the subsidy. Though low prices are harmful to farmers not receiving the subsidy because it is usually wealthy countries that can afford domestic subsidies. Critics argue they promote poverty in developing countries by artificially driving down world crop prices. As a small-scale agriculture producer, you're going to face the same problem. You cannot produce an ear of corn for the same cost as a subsidized farm can. And in the long run, that affects the whole chain. So subsidies go to crops, they go to meat producers, chicken, pork, beef, across the board. And at the same time, you're dealing with a much larger production where if I'm feeding 1,000 head of cattle, my feed cost is much less than if I'm feeding just 2 or 3 head of cattle. I have to pay a lot more for a small delivery of feed than I would for a huge delivery. So the point is, one of the biggest challenges is when you start producing food, it costs you, to create a farm fresh chicken, $20, $25, and they're selling at the store for $1 a pound. If you try to compete in that market, you will lose every time. David and Goliath, if they went, head to head in a grappling contest, chances are David would have had a harder time with that. But that's not the only thing stacked against you. Let's talk about another reason that my first farm did not work. Farming has a huge infrastructure cost, a huge time cost, a huge energy cost. Everything you want to do on a homestead or on a small farm, everything you want to produce, there's just like an enormous cost to all of it. If you're starting off small like we were when we first started our homestead in Connecticut, you know, just to raise some meat chickens, you needed a couple chicken tractors. I love the John Siskovich chicken tractors. Before the lumber prices were sky high like they are now, a Siskovich chicken tractor cost me a bit over $300, probably $325. To produce enough meat chickens to actually start a business and sell, you need a couple chicken tractors. You build 3 John Siskovich chicken tractors.
You know, that cost you $1,000 just in the chicken tractors. On top of that, you gotta buy all the feed for the chickens.
And you gotta buy your chicks.
It's really easy right there to put 25, 30 bucks into a bird. And that's just getting your business off the ground. You're limited in how many you can produce. In a summer, maybe if you could do 3 batches, 300 birds. If you profited, and this would be really good, if you profited $5 a bird, if you could find enough customers, in your first year, if you did 3 batches, $5 of profit per bird, you would make $1,500, which if the chicken tractors alone cost you $1,000 to build, the feed bill for your chickens is easily gonna eat up about that extra $500. Now, of course, that would pay for your chicken tractors, and the next year, you would essentially not have to pay for them, or you could amortize the cost over time. But you see the point is there's a heavy, heavy cost to infrastructure, and that's in a chicken tractor. We're not talking about barns. We're not talking about farm equipment. The infrastructure cost is huge, and then on top of it, when you're installing infrastructure, fencing, watering systems, that takes a ton of time. If you're building this business on the side, or even if you go in full time, that's cost into the infrastructure, which isn't actually gonna make you money right away. Long term, it will help make things better, but right away, you're not gonna make anything back from that. So there is so much cost associated in this world where you already are having a hard time getting the money you need to for the product you're selling. So in addition to, you know, going up against Goliath, you have a huge cost. And if you start your business with so much cost kind of choking you out, and you can't start earning enough to keep your head above water, your little homestead business can get snuffed out pretty quickly. And that's what was happening to mine. I could not get enough people to pay what I needed them to for my products, and the costs were just burying us. But that's still not the only things you're up against when you start. This is a really ambitious thing you want to do. It's hard. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. The pigs know it's feeding time when I pull the gator out. You can hear them, they're all up here, they're yelling at me right now. They want to eat. So the next thing you're up against, and this is definitely not unique to homesteading or small farming, but I do think we can get fooled here. We think about small farming, homesteading, getting back to basics. It's a simple way of life. It's the way our ancestors lived every day. And because of that, I think we assume it's going to be easy. It's hard work. Everybody knows it's hard physical work, but it, you know, is where we get into that same mistake that that whole anyone can farm thing. I think that's part of the problem is we think about homesteading, small farming as something that, oh, you know what, it's back to basics. Anybody can do it if you just work hard enough. But like anything, we all know to become a doctor is gonna take you 10 years, and to become a mechanic is gonna take you a bunch of years, and you know, no one thinks they could be a plumber tomorrow just because they go out and they buy a toolbox and a couple of monkey wrenches. But I know myself, you go out and buy a couple chickens, a coop, and you get an egg basket, and you think, hey, I should start making a bunch of money doing this. I'm gonna, you know, put a sign at the end of my road, say for sale, and the money's gonna come flowing in because it's back to basics. It's deceiving. We better go feed those pigs. They're gonna be mad at me. Everybody's hanging out at the water hole today. Remind me to turn that water off. I just turned the water on. This is our water tower here. And I turn it on manually when I come to do the animals. and it gravity feeds all of our waterers. And I will 100% forget to turn it off when I'm done talking here. Please remind me in the comments below to turn that water off. And this is the other thing that's really hard about homesteading, and it's kind of a sad truth about homesteading too. You look at those beautiful girls behind me. We got the piggies behind me making a bunch of noise. We work with these beautiful animals, or, you know, not everybody, some people raise crops, right? We got the field behind me, you can make hay, you can do we actually planted this year some corn and some sunflowers and some other pumpkins and things. Here's the problem. All that stuff is alive. When you're working with something that is living and needs to keep living for you to succeed, it adds a whole new element of challenge. A carpenter can build a table and he can make a mistake on the table, and then he can go back and spend a few more hours and fix that mistake. And maybe instead of a full-size table now it has to be a coffee table. But the point is, it doesn't die. That product doesn't disappear. Last year we're about to make the best homesteading business transaction, one single transaction we'd ever made. We were gonna sell those 2 cows right there, Luna and Grasshopper. We had a deposit on. And so many of you know what happened with Ladybug. We found out she had a disease and we lost Ladybug. And then we had to make sure that they weren't diseased. And then we needed to keep cows for ourselves. We really quickly went from what would have been one of our biggest wins to what was definitely our biggest loss on the homestead. So that's a lot to stack against you, and maybe a couple of you have been scared away from the idea of making money homesteading or small farming, and that's okay, because it's really, really hard. I would never encourage you. You know what, if you want to get rich, if you want to make $1 million bucks, they always say if you want to make $1 million bucks farming, start with 2 million. That pretty much sums it up. But I didn't make this video to discourage you, and I didn't make this video to say it's impossible, because look, we're making a living full-time from our homestead. We've adapted over the years our business in a lot of different ways, and now we're able to full-time do what we wanted. When I wanted to be a full-time farmer, I'm able to do the things I wanted to do full-time, just I make my money a different way. I know a lot of you know, like, that's from running a YouTube business, but that's not what this video is about either. Really, this whole series is about approaching the idea of making money from your homestead differently. I did not forget to turn it off yet, but it's still filling, so I can't turn it off yet, so let's see. Don't count my chickens. In jiu-jitsu, I actually use this illustration all the time. It annoys Kay because I use it so much. Jiu-jitsu, especially because I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu. I just heard this one time, and I think it's such a good illustration for this kind of thing. So ready? Jiu-jitsu. Your whole idea is to take a blow from somebody and redirect that energy back to them so that they almost like hurt themselves with their own attack. So I think the best way to approach making money from your small farm, your homestead, is to take the blows, the things that are against you, and to turn them around and make them what actually fights for you. Let's use one example in this video, the very first challenge I talked about, the David and Goliath thing, where you cannot produce a chicken for the same cost as what they sell it at Walmart. You're never gonna compete with their prices. You should not be selling chicken from your homestead for $1 or $2 per pound. You will put yourself out of business. You need to instead use the fact that you are different from Goliath, differentiate yourself from that, and use that to your advantage. So instead of trying to sell farm fresh eggs as cheap as they are at the supermarket, or as cheap as your neighbor down the road sells them, find what makes David better than Goliath and announce that to your local market. Let them know why you are different than the local chain. Let them know why your product is better. You take the ultimate care of your chickens. You go out there every day and you talk to them and you throw them feed and take little fluffy butt Friday Instagram photos. They get the best life possible. They're out free ranging, so they get to eat bugs and scratch. How about your eggs? The color. Why is the color so bright orange versus the placid yellow of egg off the shelf? What kind of flavor difference is there? What shelf life difference? An egg from your farm is gonna not even need to be refrigerated and it will last so much longer. So take the fact that David is better at you at some things and then turn that against David. No, Goliath, right? Sorry, we're David, he's Goliath. You get the idea. The point is, you are by nature producing a very different product than large-scale agriculture. And again, I don't want large-scale agriculture to be the bad guy. Farmers are good people, no matter what they're growing, what they're raising, and how they're doing it. But in your narrative, you are the farmer who your customer wants more than the farmer who's producing the eggs for Big Y. You want your customers to know why your product's better, educate them about that, differentiate yourself, and then ask the premium price you deserve versus what the store is. And that's one way to take one of those strikes towards you and redirect it to some homestead business jujitsu. I think I can turn the water off now. That should be enough for today. So, what about all those other problems? What about all the other stuff you're up against? How can we make this work? How have we done it over the years? The goats again. Over the last decade, we have gone from trying to be full-time farmers to changing a lot of our business methods, business models, products and services that we offered to the point where we do make a living full-time from our homestead. And we do this mainly through our content business and our internet business. But over the last 7 years, I've been doing the Homesteady podcast. Goats just hit the camera. And also the YouTube channel here. We've been going to different farms and interviewing farmers and homesteaders who are making money from their homestead. Some of them profitable on a hobby level, side income, side hustle. Some of them I've watched over the years go from hobby, side hustle to full-time farmer by being different in how they approach the market. Not trying to grow a farm business that was gonna produce like the big Goliath businesses out there, you know, producing a couple thousand chickens each year and trying to make money off selling 1,000 chickens. But finding different ways to approach their local market, different products and services they could offer. And through this different approach, this creative approach, they've been able to become profitable at a small or large level. And so all this knowledge that I've been able, between the interviews and our own experience that I've been able to gather, I have put together a course called the Make Money Homesteading course. I have been working on this course for almost an entire year. I started it the end of last summer and it's finally done. And I actually have already run the course once. I had a group of my Homesteady pioneers who were interested in it, decided to take the course, and it got really good reviews from them. You can read the testimonials that I have from those who went through the course. They really, really loved it. I'll read you one testimonial. Matt says, even if you're not at the point where you think you're ready, this course is still for you. Austin takes a smart approach to a complex and intimidating problem, breaks it down into easy to process bits. Even if you're already running your own homestead business, there are tips and tricks contained in this course for everyone to grow with. 10 out of 10 would take the course again. So Matt really enjoyed the course. You can read the rest of the testimonials on our website. And if you're interested, click there to take the course. Here's what we're doing. In the month of July, I'm going to be doing the course live with students. It's an on-demand audio program, so it's like a series of podcasts you can listen to while driving to work, taking a jog, working out in your field, whatever you're busy doing. I know side hustlers and entrepreneurs are busy, so it's all audio. You can listen to it anytime, anywhere, streaming from our website, right to your phone. You can even download the lessons right to your phone to listen to later. As you go through the course, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you get to go through all the content at your own pace, and then I will join you and the other students live through the month of July, once a week, to answer your questions related to that week's information. And if you'd like to go through it live with me, you can start taking the course today. If you click there, you sign up for the course, you'll start getting each lesson sent to you one a day. It's a month-long program. You get one lesson a day, 5 days a week. You get to take the weekend off. You can submit your questions through a form in the course, and then I will answer them live. You'll be able to get some live coaching with me and the other students at our Q&A sessions. And if you actually can't make the live Q&As, don't worry, you get to watch the replay later. And because you can submit your question ahead of time, you get your questions answered and you can watch it. You get lifetime access to this course, so you go through it once, you want to run through it again, you can go through it again. Click there to learn more about the Make Money Homesteading course. My initial run went fantastic. The students really thought it was helpful. It helped them with problems they didn't even know they were going to be up against. I think it's going to help so many of you too. I've been working on it for a long time, trying to put together a path for you to follow. Is it right for you? Is this course right for you? Well, this is what I want to ask you. Are you interested in making money homesteading? If you are, then this course is definitely going to help you. If you've never sold any products, there's a ton of information here to help you pick which product you should be producing before you go and produce the wrong product. So if you don't have anything to sell, don't worry, this course is gonna help you. If you've already started and you're just not having the success you wanted, this course will help you too. It'll help you take a hard look at what you're currently producing, see if it's the right thing, and also help you with a lot of the marketing strategies that help businesses grow in 2021, where we face so many unique challenges to making money from our homesteads. If you want to take the course, again, click right there. You can start taking it immediately. You'll learn about the price, you'll learn about how it works, you can overlook the curriculum, read the testimonials, all there. If you can't take the course right now, maybe financially you're not there, you don't have the time to do it, don't worry. Over the summer, I'm gonna continue this series and you're gonna get some really good key points for free here on YouTube about how you can make money homesteading. Because I really think so many of us can do it if we approach it differently than trying to build our own Goliath farm. And I know you, if you're interested in doing this, this series is gonna help you. And if you really wanna take the leap and really get your homestead business off the ground on the right foot, check out the Make Money Homesteading course. For those of you who sign up in June, just be patient because our live Q&A will begin in July and I'll be sending you emails about it. I already have a good amount of people on a waiting list, so we're gonna fill up the month of July, and at some point we will then take the course down. You won't be able to take it once we're done doing the live run. So if you're interested in taking it, head over and register while you still can. I really look forward to getting to know you, your homestead business, and hopefully being able to help you grow it to the size that you want to grow it, whether that's David's size or a homestead version of a Goliath.